Welcome, beautiful souls. This is your weekly energy forecast from the 30th of January through to the 5th of February. I cannot believe we're going into the second month of 2023. Shit is crazy. I hope that you guys are well. For those who do not know me, I'm Felicity from Enchanted by Soul. And if you would like to work with me, you can check the description box below. If you're on YouTube, all the links will be there. If you're on Instagram, information is below, but the link is in my bio. So I hope that you guys are well. Those watching the replay, if this resonates, be sure to comment and let me know. Hey Georgia, how are you? How's things going? So we're going to see what comes through. Okay, I'm also going to have out this week, guys, the February element readings. Okay, so for all of this earth, water, fire, air signs, they'll be out this week. I'm going to film them after I do this live, actually. So see what comes through. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful summer's day. I hope the weather's not too bad where everyone else is, especially here in the northern. Okay. Whew. Now, one of the pre-channeled messages that I got, by the way, I've got a little notebook here, just with some stuff that I got. There was a message around a call to step forward, okay, to a call to be seen and a call to step out of the shadow. I get two things with this, okay, by the obvious meaning of it, okay, with like calling to step forward, being seen, you know, this obviously feels like authenticity. This feels like coming out of the cave, coming out of the shadow too. Like if you've been going through a period of like healing, if you've been going through a period of kind of solitude, but getting a bit of hermit mode, kind of staying indoors, which is all fine, but now it's like time to kind of step out of that energy and to really start kind of just getting back out there. The other part of it though, with the authenticity, this really feels like it's just a time to show up. I mean, this week, hey Holly, this week we have a full moon in the sign of Leo, and we know the Leo energy, right? Like, hey, I'm here, like that extra as fuck energy. Like, I love my Leos. So this is part of that authenticity, like just coming out and being you. It's so important and really freeing. Not everyone's going to agree with it, but not everyone's meant to, right? Like we're not meant to resonate with every single other soul, and that's okay. But like, for example, me, when I see someone that is in their complete and total authentic truth, whether I'm a fan of the person or not, it does not matter. At the end of the day, I go like, whoa, like that person's in their truth. And I can't hate on that. I'm like, they're in their truth. I might not be in alignment with everything that they say or that they stand for, but they're in their truth. So this is just a message that's coming through. Another big one is around discernment, okay? Really needing to use our discernment when it comes to a few things, okay? One, I'm getting in the sense of like when going to make a decision, or if you're really kind of about to step out and really put yourself out there, especially if you're kind of stepping out into sharing messages or starting to be really open and honest about your own spiritual journey or your own psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities. Okay, so discerning between like what is fear, because you're going to experience fear. I remember the first time I hopped on a live, I was like... I was very, very, very afraid, but I just pushed through and did it, right? So it's important that we push through no matter what, but in saying that, using the discernment of maybe it's like I'm feeling ready to step out soon and talk about that, but maybe not such in like a large way. And I can just maybe start talking more to my community, my friends about it. So that's just a little something that's coming through. Also, in regards to discernment, I cannot stress this enough. I have spoken about this before, but it's just coming through so strongly to talk about again. Using discernment with what you come across in content, in messages, whether this is in person, whether this is online, it does not matter. So even, for example, you watching this reading right now, okay, these messages that are coming through, it's so important to use your discernment. Not everything I say is going to be like for every single individual. You might resonate with some things, you might resonate with everything, you might resonate with nothing, and that's okay. And it's important, the best way to know if something like sits with you and it feels like truth to you is, again, does it feel like truth to you? When you are receiving a message, and the important thing is to come with an open mind. And then it's like, okay, I'm open to hearing what's being said here. Now, how's my body feel? Does it feel like truth, even though I don't quite like understand how it feels like truth, but it just does? Or does it feel like, no, that's just not for me? This is where discernment's important, and it's really important when it comes to a lot of the content that's out there, okay? I'm specifically hearing, and it makes sense, but specifically hearing like big accounts, okay? And being really mindful with what you're taking in. There's a lot of dangerous stuff that is shared, okay? And again, it's discernment. It comes to discernment when we have those fake accounts, taking your content and messaging people. It comes down to discernment. So this is just something that's really coming through here, okay? Okay, when it comes to manifestation, okay, so when you're wanting to manifest something, discerning between, is this what my soul truly wants, or is this what my ego wants? And I'm not talking about like, okay, you want to manifest like a designer bag. I manifested one last year. I was like, yeah, but that wasn't really coming from my soul. Let's be real. But it's just like a fun step into this career. Is that the career that your soul's calling you towards? Sorry, it paused due to a bad connection, which is interesting. I've got full service here. So discernment is a big message this week, as is stepping out of the shadow, stepping out of the cave, stepping out and expressing yourself for who you are, okay? A call to step forward, a call to be seen. So you might even receive an opportunity this week, okay, that is going to require you to really step out of your comfort zone. It's going to require you to put yourself out there, and it may feel really freaking scary, but you feel like there's a call with this, and it's like, I'm meant to do that even though it feels scary. Then go ahead and do it. But again, this is where that discernment comes in. Hi, Alexis, by the way. Okay, let's have a look here. Thank you. Interesting, okay? We have realization with perception. I say interesting because it's like, a perception is how we perceive things, right? How we see something through our lens. My truth might not be your truth. Your truth might not be my truth. It's the remembrance and the realization that every single individual holds their own unique perspective, and that perspective comes from their own lens, and that comes from what they've been through, okay? Their life experience up until this point. And that's okay. Just remember that that's okay. We don't need to like judge others because they're on a different path, or because you might consider them to be, I hate the word, less woke, right? Because I really cannot stand the whole woke culture. There's a difference between the woke culture and like the continuous of awakening and being awake and evolving and growing, right? And again, if someone's not on that path, that's okay. We don't need to judge that. We don't put ourselves above anyone, okay? So just remember that. Okay, let's see what else I can get around this though. Okay, realizing that there is not just one truth, okay? It's like there's many truths. And what we believe might not be what someone else believes, or if we go into a situation, for example, you could be having a conversation with your partner and you've had a disagreement and you both have different like views of what just took place, right? It doesn't mean that like your truth is the only truth. And I'm not talking about abusive relationships here, okay? That's never what I'm talking about. But that doesn't mean that your truth is the only truth. That person has their own truth as well. And it can be about trying to find the truth in the middle, or just accepting that we have different truths, and we can respect that. Oh, beautiful though. What I just heard was coming into your whole truth. Okay, coming into your whole truth. A lot of you, 2023 is going to be the year that you really step into like your truest self. And it's not to say that you're being fake now, or that you've never been your true self like now or in the past, but you're continuing to evolve and grow. And that's going to mean that we shed versions of ourselves constantly, and we step further into our soul into our soul's truth, okay? Into who we came here to be. And then that comes back to me talking about before with being like seen and allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to be heard, and being okay with that if everyone doesn't vibe with that. We need to, and again, if that, the need for that validation, if you find yourself in that place, don't shame yourself for that. Get curious about that, because that's definitely like some wounding there, okay, to work through. I'm someone who once upon a time needed a lot of validation, more so from family, and I've completely removed that, which is amazing. So, you know, it can be done, but just don't shame yourself. That's really important. But there's this beautiful energy coming through of like realizing your whole truth, the truth of who you are, the truth of what you're here to do. And again, don't cling to that though. That's really important. Like, don't cling to like how I just said about the whole truth of like what you're here to do, because that can shift and evolve and change all the time, right? Like, I know that I am 100% on my soul true path. Like, I am so on the right path. But the path that I'm on, I have the understanding and awareness that that can shift and like evolve and move, and even what I could perceive as change as I go along. But as long as I'm holding that truth completely, that knowing that I'm on the right path, I'm good. Because when you know that and you feel that, there is so much freedom that comes with that. But again, this also means about stepping into your true authentic self and expressing yourself that way as well. Alexa's hiding. Yes, it's about coming out of the cave, okay? Coming out and expressing ourselves. And the coming out of the cave too just feels like some of you have just needed some time for rest and rejuvenation, maybe some healing, and now Spirit's like, okay, come on, time to get back out now. Okay, that really feels like that too. Okay, let's get some tarot here. Using the Muse Tarot, if anyone is interested, that is this one. It's a very, very eccentric deck. I would not read it like traditional tarot, but it's a really cool deck. I like it. It's got a lot of divine feminine energy in it. Okay. Thank you. Oh. We've got the Ace of Materials, so the Ace of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Death card. So a lot of earth energy with all the pentacles coming up here, okay? And then we have the Death. I mean, whew. Okay. It can be really, and I've done it myself, okay? It can be really easy at times to get stuck in a cycle of healing. And there's nothing wrong, okay, with going within and kind of disconnecting from others for a bit just to kind of do some healing, okay? But sometimes we can like cling to that story of like, I've just got to continually be like healing, and like I can't do A, B, and C until I've completely healed this. Like I can't get into a healthy relationship and call in a divine partnership until I'm completely healed. I can't start my online business until I've completely healed A, B, or C. I can't do this, I can't do that until I've done the healing, right? Lose that story, it's holding you back. Lose that story, it's holding you back, okay? Let it go. You are more than ready and more than capable, okay, to start that business, to shift your career, to really get into like that healthy lifestyle in whatever way that looks and means for you. So ready for that beautiful, healthy relationship, okay? We don't have to be completely healed. Do I believe we ever reach a space of being completely healed? I mean, I don't know. I haven't reached that space myself, and I don't know anyone else that has. So who knows? Maybe there is someone out there like that, but I really don't think that is the majority. Definitely not. Okay. breaking free of the shadow, right? So the shadow, when I say shadow, never look at that like it's a bad thing, right? In order to break free from the shadow, we need to bring it to the light. And by that I mean when we have something that is, whether it's self-sabotage, whether it's, procrastination, which you can put into the same category really, whatever it is, by bringing awareness to it, we bring light to it. Then it's like break free from it. We don't need to continuously go back to that shadow all the time and get onto that hamster wheel of healing and da-da-da-da. I've spoken about this many times before. But there's a breaking free of the shadow. Death and rebirth, we know this, okay? So many of us have been on that process for like a good few years. It hasn't been an overnight one. For some of you, it may have been, or feeling like it is, like more of a quicker process, and they're definitely not easy. Nor of the longer ones, but it's, those real quick ones though, that can be really intense. Okay. Only take this if it resonates, okay? And remember, this is said in a way of metaphor, not literal. Oh, now I've lost it. Can you bring the stream back, please? It happens sometimes. The death of an old life. Thank you. The death of an old life. Okay. The death of life as you know it. The death of life as you know it. Okay. And again, I say that in a metaphor. Okay. In that way. So the death of life as you know it. Sometimes, and again, only take that if that resonates for you, right? You'll feel it in your body as truth. Sometimes we can really cling to a old life or a life that's trying to be shed, okay, that's trying to move, and we want to cling to that for multiple reasons. And it's nothing to feel bad about, or like, oh, I can't let go of this and it's really hard. Like, that's all part of the human experience. It's completely normal. But the new that we want, the new life that we want, the new chapter we want, the new door that we want cannot appear if we're clinging on and holding on to things that are no longer for us. And that goes sometimes for us, it can be like a partnership, it can be an old way of being or whatever. And sometimes it literally is the life that we are currently living that we know is being like wanting to shed away. So that's going to be a message definitely for, I'm hearing for quite a few, okay? It's going to look different for probably each and every individual, which is expected, as we're all on our own unique journeys. Alexis here, that's literally what I was going to say. I've been experiencing / feeling amazing. I'm glad that really resonates with you, Alexis. The old identity, another ego death and rebirth. Yes. And do you know how much that can place you into the void and into the feeling of, oh my God, like, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, who am I? What am I even doing? Like, why am I doing this? I feel so confused. I'm experiencing so much grief. I don't even know why I feel like I'm experiencing grief. Let that process take place, okay? Through the death of the old, whether it's an old version, an old life, etc., it comes with grief. And I don't think that's kind of spoken about enough, or at least through what I've seen. And it's something important to remember. We experience grief with that. And so allow yourself to have that process of grief. There's nothing wrong with that. But then come out of the shadow and break away from it and move forward, right? Because that's how the new is going to come in. And if you're in that stage, that feeling of like, even like some anxiety or fear coming over you of like, I don't even know who the fuck I am. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what that is. I feel so like out of my body. Okay, that is really normal when there is a huge transition taking place and a huge leap in your life that is about to take place, and you can't foresee it. You don't know what it is. It's so unknown. That comes with fear, which is then why we get placed in that void energy, because it's like the old is gone, new's not here yet. Holy shit! And if you feel that out of the body experience, bring yourself back into the body by doing lots of grounding practices, okay? Nature's like one of the best ways, salt baths, breath work, yoga, dance, anything that brings you back into your body. Grieving the old self, yes. I was experiencing this probably a couple months ago. And it was just a very intense experience and a lot of confusion, okay? So it's just really normal, and let yourself process that. And remember too, you don't have to do it alone. I mean, spirit's always there, but you don't have to do it alone in the sense of in your physical. So if you need to reach out to someone or, you know, receive some healing or guidance, by all means, you can go ahead and do that. Alexis, that's a beautiful reminder. I'm glad. But then moving here, okay, guys, with the Ace of Pentacles, okay, aces are like new beginnings, new opportunities, new offers, new tangible beginnings. And tangible meaning you can hold it, right? Because it's the material, it's the physical reality. The Knight of Pentacles, this is an interesting depiction of the Knight of Pentacles, because the Knight of Pentacles in traditional tarot is just like a horse that is just still. It's not moving. It's a beautiful card to receive though, because it represents stability. It represents something that is coming in that's not quite here yet. And when it comes, it's like, oh my God, it's finally fucking here. It feels like it's taken forever, but it's because it's stable. It's because it's got longevity attached to it, okay? Or longevity with it. It couldn't come in any other way. It's like so much had to be alchemized and created behind the scenes. You had to do so much co-creating, you had to do so much surrendering, etc., for it to come in. And then there's this beautiful, strong foundation with it. This can also represent yourself, remember that. But this Knight of Materials, Knight of Pentacles here, this horse is moving. So that's another thing to remember, because this is bringing back to a message that I also got here in the pre-channeling that I didn't mention before, which was all will be revealed soon. Okay, so this may be a repetitive message, but this is when faith must be held. Okay, so I'm gonna say that one more time. All will be revealed soon. This may be a repetitive message, but this is when faith must be held. So as you're going through this death and rebirth process, as you feel the old falling away, as you feel in that confusion, in that void, in that transition, and you just know that something's to come, but you don't know what it is, and you're feeling all sorts of different emotions, okay, again, normal, it's coming in. All will be revealed soon. Hold the faith. Such a message that I know can feel like frustration, but release that frustration and go into that surrender. Okay, surrender to life, surrender to what is. Doesn't mean we don't take action. We listen to our intuition, we listen to our soul, but right now the guidance is like, just let it be, right? Just let it be, because you're stepping into your power. You're stepping into a time of abundance. The Queen of Materials is the ultimate manifester. She knows how to create abundance and then multiply it. She knows how to nurture herself, so then therefore she can nurture those around her. Okay, so remembering that too through this process, if you're feeling a little bit like, whew, this is intense, bring you back to yourself by doing those practices, by doing things that make you feel good, nurturing yourself, filling up your cup, and therefore you're going to be able to give to others without feeling depleted and tired and exhausted and all of that. Okay, all right, let's see what else comes out here. Some interesting messages this week. It's just kind of like when I started to connect, it was like, yeah, this is kind of just is what it is. It's not like, there's not these messages of, I don't know, I can't even think of the word. It just is what it is, right? And it's for who it's meant to be for. Okay, a channel for the collective, but I always say it's for who is meant to receive this message, who is meant to come across this and resonate with it. And again, you might resonate with everything, you might resonate with just a little. All right, I'm going to get one of these. So what else do those watching and resonating need to know, please? Okay, I'm just going to take that one. So we have, you're already doing it. Stop overthinking and continue to face your true north, right? Keep facing your true north. When we get into overthinking, which is normal, but when we get into that overthinking, we really build up more stress for ourselves. We build up more fear, more anxiety, and we create this resistance energy, right? So it doesn't mean that you can't feel that. It just means that when you do feel that, bring yourself back into your body, okay? Don't go pulling cards. Don't go watching like a heap of different YouTube tarot readings. Like really be centered, do some journaling that can probably help, but don't go pulling cards for yourself. When you're in that energy, you're just going to receive more conflicting energy. You're going to receive messages that match your fear, and therefore you're not receiving exactly what is truth, which is why you should be going into that divination when you are in center, okay? A lot of you too are really being called up to step into the role of serving humanity in like more of a way that is not just to your friends, and I don't want to say just, right, but like some people, their soul mission and what they're meant to do is like they're serving to clients, they're serving to their business, they're serving to their local community, their friends, their family, and that's so beautiful. And then there's others that are kind of meant to put more of like a message out there for more of like, you know, on a global level or whatever. Some of you are being called to do that, and it's really important that you start to listen to those intuitive hits and start to make movements on that, okay? Trust the process. You're going to be given a little bit each time. If you're given everything, it would freak you the fuck out. Like, I know that for myself. If I was given everything like 2 years ago, I would have been like, oh, hell no, I am not doing that. Absolutely not. So I was given a little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit. So just trust the process too, okay? But keep doing it, okay? Stop overthinking. And again, that comes into that discernment that I spoke about at the beginning as well. Is it fear or is this truth? Okay. The truth just feels like the truth. It's just this inner knowing of like, oh yeah, that's the truth. I don't know how I know it's the truth, but it's just like true knowing. Then the non-truth that comes with just a whole lot of fear. Okay. And you're really in your mind. And so that's where you've got to bring yourself into your body so you can actually hear the truth. Okay. I mean, come on now. Trust the niggle. Okay. What is the niggling feeling trying to trust you? Also, how I said about step out of the shadow, right? It's exactly what this person's doing, stepping out of the shadow, right? It's like trusting the little whispers. Go this way, pick up that book, go into that store, talk to that person, whatever it is. You got to trust those little niggles. They're not always these big, profound messages or these, you know, like we don't really tend to get the billboard flashing at us with the message. It would be great if we did, but we don't tend to get that. So it's more so about just trusting those little whispers and learning how to trust yourself. And how do you learn how to trust yourself? By starting the process of trusting yourself and listening and then acting upon those whispers from a really aligned place, and you will never be led astray. Ever, okay? You will be walking that path that is so meant for you. And if you're unsure if you're walking the right path, just state it. Just be like, I don't know if I'm walking the right path. Like, show me the path and I'll walk it. Show me the way and I'll walk it. And then just see what happens for you, okay? But trust you'll always be redirected. Anytime I've kind of gone off course, Spirit's like, yeah, and back here you go. So that'll happen as well, okay? Okay, let's see if there's anything else, and then I'm going to close this out. Okay, straight away I'm hearing that some of you are getting the call to connect to your guides. Some of you are getting the call to connect to your guides. If that is you and this resonates with you, look into ways that you can do that. Look, you can do that through journaling. If you know how to channel, then of course, go ahead and do that. I wouldn't recommend you just jump into channeling without actually knowing the 101 basics of protection, and all of that's really, really important. And never go into it with fear, also important, because you'll just mirror back to you what you're feeling, okay? But there is this message coming through that some of you have been literally being like, feeling this call and pull to do that, and it's time for you to start to explore that, okay? If you're not sure exactly what to do, ask for some guidance and just let it be shown to you, and you'll know, okay? The right people will come into your life, etc., etc. It's exactly what happened to me. Right, exactly what happened to me. Okay. Anything else? Okay, it's quite blunt. Sometimes This is why I always like dissect what I'm being given and being really mindful of using of the words that I use. I'm not someone who's going to just put something out there and go, oh, don't shoot the messenger, and be really irresponsible, but sometimes it is very blunt. But look, basically what's coming through here, I'm going to be mindful of how I put this, okay, is that when we feel the call to really step into our full true self, our soul's path, it does come with fear, okay? Because it can come with the fear of persecution, okay? Disrupting family dynamics, having your partner not understand it, having your friends judge you, your family judge you, and all of that. And sometimes that doesn't transpire, and other times it does. I've experienced kind of like a mix, okay? But you have two choices. You can stay where you are, and again, if that's your choice, that's okay, right? There's no right or wrong here, but you can stay where you are, or you can go to where you're being called. If you are feeling the fear around what you're going to be called, ask yourself the question of, what would it be like for me if I were to stay where I am? When I asked myself this a couple of years ago, I was like so scared about where I was being called to go, because it was like, oh God, I don't know how people are going to react to that. That's crazy. Like, I don't think so, you know, like all that stuff. But it felt so true to my soul. It felt so true to me. And so I asked myself, well, how would I feel and how would it be for me if I stayed where I am, and decided not to do that? First thing that came to my mind was like entrapment. I would feel trapped. I would feel suffocated. I would feel lost. I would feel confused. I would feel like there's something missing. I'd be longing for something I didn't know what it was. And therefore that would create internal suffering. So the trade-off for me of staying in the place that I was, it was like, as in to stay there was just the stakes were too high. I was like, fuck no, like I can't do that. So I'm going to step where I'm being called into this. At the time I was like crazy, right? Like thinking that's a crazy path to go. It's so unconventional, but it felt so right to me. And holy crap, like the magic that has just taken place. And I'm so glad I took that first step. So it doesn't have to be a big leap, but it can be a first step. And again, there's no right or wrong. Okay. If you want to stay where you are, stay where you are. There's no right or wrong. There's no shame in that. Okay, but if you're feeling that call and you're really wanting to go there, but you're feeling that fear, then ask yourself, okay, I'm feeling this fear about the unknown, but I also know what it would be like if I stay where I am. So what will that be like? Journal about that, okay? And then make some movement from there. So that was the message that was coming through, but just a little less blunt the way that they put it. Anyway, guys, thanks to those who popped on and joined the live. If you enjoyed this reading and you're watching the replay, feel free to share this on your stories. Comment below if it resonated, whether it was all of it or some of the messages. I send you guys so much love. I appreciate all of your support. And as I said, I'll be getting the monthly element readings out this week. I'm going to start filming them after I hop off this live. So send you guys love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.